Good afternoon to all the registries. Hi, my name is Brian Ramirez. I'm the procurement lead for the Managed Security Services. I want to go through some administrative notes real quick. The chat is disabled. And please raise your hand if you can see the slide on your screen. So for information purposes. I also want to let everybody know this is an information purposes only brief. There will be no Q&A at this time. And we're going to go to the next slide, please. Okay, this is the agenda for today. As you can see, we'll be going over introductions with Amy Pfluger. We'll give a STS overview with Ms. Sally Ward. We will get a vision for managed security services with Ms. Susie Hillard. We're doing business with the state with Amy Pfluger again. We will have our hub program coordinator, Ms. Teresa Wilson, brief, and then we'll do a closeout with the next steps for this. We'll go to the next slide with Amy Pfluger. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon. I'm Amy Pfluger. I'm the Director of Enterprise Procurement, and I just want to thank you for taking the time to visit with us today on the market engagement for managed security services. If you go to the next slide, thank you. So today is really, the purpose is really to provide you with some information. This is market engagement, or sometimes we call it a pre-solicitation conference. And the point really being there is that there's nothing to bid on yet. The RFO has not been posted yet. So we'll go into some details a little bit later on in this session to give you a rough idea of looking at next steps. But we are expecting a posting date of late November for the managed security services we call MSS RFO. So today is really an opportunity for you to hear about the vision and some high-level scope for that RFO when we release it. Like Brian said, we're not going to answer questions at this time. There will be a time when the RFO is released for you to ask questions about the RFO at that time. So to keep going, these slides are going to be posted on the Electronic State Business Daily, the ESBD, along with a link to the recording. This is being recorded, and the attendees list. You might ask, why is the attendees list important? It's because we have some hubs participating in our attendance today who are looking to partner with primes. And by having this attendance list posted, you will be able to see ways to contact hubs and or primes based on who's attended here today. So that's a really neat way to begin your partnering actions that you need to start taking to prepare for responding to this RFO once it's out. So later on, you will hear about some of the hub requirements and the requirements for submitting an HSP once the RFO is posted. So again, I'll repeat, there's nothing to bid on right now. This is an informational session for you to begin preparing for the release of the RFO. Okay, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sally.
Hello, I'm Sally Ward. I am the Director of Shared Technology Services Vendor Management, and I am here to get you excited to bid on our pending solicitation when Amy releases it. So you can go to the next slide. I want to tell you about what shared technology services are at DIR and how managed security services fits into that. So as you may recall or know, we got started with data center services as our first service component that we provide to our customers, to all state agencies and governments of higher education and local governments. And that's basically the private cloud or public cloud mainframe, our technology solution services, as well as print, mail, and digitization. Our second component is Texas.gov, where we provide the state's official online portal. We do payment processing between constituents and the government. And we provide a native mobile app, our digital assistant called Texas by Texas. The next one is the one we're here to talk about today, and that's managed security services. And this is where we are providing a set of services focused solely on security to all of our customers within DIR. And our final tower is the open data portal. So if you go to the next slide, we're going to dive in a little bit more into what we're looking for. And we are still adhering to our original vision for shared technology services that we put in place when we started procuring these services. And our vision is to provide a customer experience that has the highest modern, secure, state-of-the-art environments with automation and rapid and consistent delivery of services that are provided at a competitive price due to our volume and of our size of our population that is purchasing these services, and really being able to provide a true digital experience for our customers. So through this procurement, through managed security services, we are looking for innovation and flexibility, agility for our customers, our choice for our customers, growth. If you think about the fact that we want our customers to have access to security services, we want growth in the services that are being provided to our customers. And we want to provide all of that at a competitive price. We can go to the next slide. I'd like to talk a little bit about our objective. For shared technology services, our objective is to supply a set of managed IT services, focusing on the word managed. It's not, we are not a cooperative contracts, do-it-yourself copy. We are providing managed services to our customers. And that allows our customers to then focus on their business models rather than trying to put together the different pieces of information technology. So the goal with managed security services is to actually provide the management of those services, not just an access to a tool. You can go to the next slide. There's some key points of value that we see for the STS program that we want to always ensure we attain through our procurements. And first of all is financial value, providing an excellent value for the taxpayer dollars that we are using. And also to be able to provide that technology, that security at a level that used to be only accessible, affordable for the very largest of customers. We want to be able to provide that to all customers of all sizes and of all budgets, which we believe we can do through shared technology services when we all band together and share those common services together. Risk management is a key value to our program because we believe that legacy systems can create and increase risk for the state. And so we're here to make sure that our customers are updating their software and hardware and reducing the security and reliability concerns. Obviously, security is one of our key values, and we believe that our security is built for the needs of government, which is different from the needs of other types of entities. And we are looking for the best industry has to offer for security protections for our customers. Digital transformation is one of our key values as well, because we provide our services all digitally, and we want to make sure that we can support our customers in meeting their own digital transformation needs or in helping them get to their digital transformation needs. And lastly, our value is to provide the top technical expertise possible to our customers. The expertise, the responsiveness of our technical support through our shared technology services providers helps us ensure that our customers can have the best the industry has to offer whenever our customers need it. So thinking about those values, that's what you're going to be seeing in our shared technology services RFOs that will come out. I want to turn now to talking about service delivery inside of shared technology services. And we operate with a multi-sourcing services integration model, which we call an MSI. So if you can go to the next slide, our MSI provides all our customers that single point of entry into all of our programs. And our MSI then administers those service components across all of our service providers and standardizes all the processes across so that our customers have one process to ask for a project, for example, or help with something or buy something. It's all the same process. It's all the same tools. In addition, the MSI maintains a customer portal, which allows our customers to interact with all of our service component providers, as well as the MSI digitally. And the MSI then is responsible for ensuring communication goes back out to our customers through newsletters, our podcast. We have a dedicated team of customer relationship managers who are meeting with our customers and communicating information about all of the services that our service providers provide in this program. Now, how do they do it? We'll look at the next slide and overwhelm you with this very busy slide. We're not going to go through this. What I'm trying to depict here is if you look on the left, our service component providers, each one is going to be interacting with our users, which is on the far right side, through all these tools, what we call a digital MSI tools, used to help communicate, connect, track work, assign work, have workflows, automate workflows. This is all provided to all of our service component providers by the MSI. These are services that our service component providers do not need to price or bid. So go to the next slide. I think one more. So what the MSI provides is really more than just IT services. They're providing documentation, manuals, knowledge templates for both service component providers as well as our customers. All of our white papers, technical guides, and so forth, news to our customers, how to create an incident, how to start a project, how to measure performance, look at an invoice. Everything comes to our customers as well as our service component providers through this single point of entry. So keep that in mind when you see the RFO and the scope of work that comes out. There'll be a whole very long section that talks about cross-purpose projects and processes and procedures. And those are all the things that the MSI will enable for you and that you will be required to interact and interface with. And with that, I want to turn it over to Susie to talk to you about the next MSS services.
Hello, everybody. My name is Susie Hilliard. Sally did. I am the Deputy Chief Information Security Officer, and I head up the security services team within OSISO. And Sally, you just did a great overview of the Shared Technology Services program as a whole and how MSS fits into it. In these next couple of slides, we're going to talk about what we vision for the upcoming iteration of managed security services. Next slide, please. So here's the background. So we've been offering MSS services for several years now to our customers to help them improve our customers improve their security program and really provide strong and consistent management of data security. And over the last few years, legislative priorities have really shown that the Texas government really is seeing cybersecurity as a priority, and we want to enable our customers to really put these tools in place in their environment so that they can deliver better protection for constituent data across the state. This MSS procurement is going to be broken into two different components. The first is MSS customer security operations, and the second is risk and compliance services. And I have a slide to talk on each of those. We can go to the next slide, please. When we talk about desired outcomes for the MSS program, of course, one of the very first ones that comes to mind, since it's in the name, is security. We really want to look at this, and DIR is working on taking a whole of state approach when it comes to security. We are really trying to improve statewide security postures, and however we can help our customers do that, we want to try and do that. And delivering those services through the shared services program is a cost-efficient way to do that. Expertise. We want our vendors with the knowledge that have the capabilities to be able to deliver these services. We want the best in breed. We want partnership. We want our vendors to partner with us and become an extension of our beliefs and our values and what we set forth and what we expect for our customers. And to continuously innovate, as we all know, security changes on the daily. And so making sure that we have the ability to grow and evolve with that is super important. We want agility. We want the ability to be able to, we don't want this monstrous, like, machine over us where you can't move through. We want to be able to change up and to be able to really kind of deliver the services that you need when you need them. And then program growth. Again, as Sally alluded to earlier, we want to really kind of help and expand expand the use of shared services and really provide you guys with desired services where we can leverage commonalities across our customer base. Next slide, please. When talking about security operations, these are the more technical solutions that we're looking at, and it really kind of starts with the MSS service component provider with their SIM, common SIM, and the security operations center. Those two feed into and to provide a security base for our customers. This is how this procurement is going to look. And then on top of that, we have these technical services that kind of jut out at on the side: the network detection and response, endpoint detection and response, managed firewall, managed web application firewall. All of those feeds will feed back into the SOC and SIM and really help to provide us, to provide everyone with better up-to-date threat intelligence, better information, better protection, and just a more standard approach to delivering these technical solutions. In addition to those specific spelled out in the diagram, we are also going to be offering advanced threat hunting, darknet intelligence, endpoint management services, incident management, digital forensics, and then post-security incident recovery. Next slide. And the other section we're looking at is risk and compliance. And so when it comes to risk and compliance, it's those services that our customers use to really help them improve their security program and where their program stands and their maturity levels. And these services include pen testing, adversarial simulation exercises. These are where it really kind of blends pen testing with social engineering to really kind of get you a better idea of where your perimeter stands. Social engineering, security assessments, system security plan development, vulnerability management, post-security incident recovery, and response preparedness. And those are the services that we're including in risk and compliance. And that overall is our vision for MSS moving forward. Next slide, please. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Amy Fluger.
Thank you, Susie. So you got a high level vision and outcomes picture as you begin thinking about how to move forward with partnering with DIR. If you could go to the next slide. So one of the reasons why we do these market engagements is based from some lessons learned from past procurements and feedback from the marketplace. So of course, one of those top things is informing you as the marketplace that this is coming out, so that you have a little more time to prep and plan and build those partnerships, which kind of moves us into the next circle. Moving to the right is providing networking opportunities. You know, in the past, we were able to do these in person, and we kind of got used to being remote, and it's easier to not have to figure out travel plans to do this networking. But please do use the attendance list for this, and reach out to do networking, to build those partnerships, so that, again, all these things flow together to hopefully get better proposals and the best value for the state. So part of doing this is removing barriers to entry. It includes just giving you the heads up, so that timing wise, maybe that's one more hurdle we can remove from your bid, no bid decision as you consider responding. And of course, we want to promote competition. Sometimes folks think that maybe an incumbent has an advantage here. We really want to ensure you that we are seeking great competition to get to that best value for the state. And so just know that we are really seeking lots of competition here. And then, of course, that results in reduced costs overall in our program and in all our different types of procurements too. All these pieces of the puzzle form together to get hopefully better proposals from you all, and then seek the best value for the state. Next slide. So you've heard Sally mention it, and you heard Susie mention it, that we're looking for partners. As a service component provider in this managed services MSI environment, we are looking for somebody to partner with us and not just be a vendor. You're not just taking an order or being reactive or responsive, not taking a narrow view, but we're looking for that partner to work with us, work with our customers, and work within this managed services and multi-sourcing services integrator model and environment that we have. So every time we're procuring these shared technology services contracts, we are looking for partners to be a part of this shared environment. Okay, next slide. So just really high level procurement process. Here we are, market engagement. This is the planning phases. Sometimes we'll do art of the possibles. We didn't do it in this one, but oftentimes in our shared services procurement, we'll do market research, and oftentimes there might be a chance for an art of the possible session where we're going out and seeking and learning what's new on the horizon, where's the roadmap headed for each of our potential service component providers. Sometimes you'll see a request for comment out there. That's when we might put an RFO out on the street to where you can provide feedback on our requirements. And then for doing pre-proposal conferences. Now, we haven't done all those with this one, but in others you may see that. So for those of you who are new to the shared technology services procurement and contracting process, that's a little picture into what it can look like sometimes. Then we move into the solicitation. And like I said earlier, we don't have question answers right now because there's nothing for you to ask questions about just yet. Once the RFO is posted on the street, we do have a question and answer period, and we usually do those as a rolling Q&A. And so we'll answer the questions as fast as we can and get those out to you. We don't wait and hold all the questions to the end and then answer them all at once. We roll it through. You'll have response instructions, and then of course we have evaluation criteria, and we're looking for value add. And then we move through the evaluation process. Of course, we're going to do an administrative review. There's some pass-fail criteria. Please make sure when you're looking at RFOs that you are looking at those things to ensure that you don't fail before you even get to the point where your response is getting evaluated. So that's a little picture into the procurement process. Next slide. So here we are in really this planning phase for you. We are in an open procurement on this one, MSS, and in this form, we're pushing information out to you as the vendor community in order for you to plan and prepare for the release of the RFO. And really, I'll just say now is really not the time to ask for a sit down with our executive management because we're in an open procurement for MSS. There might be other topics you'd want to talk to them about, but we have moved past that point for managed security services. So this is a time for you to identify potential partners and establish your teaming agreements. Be sure to take the time right now to check your status with the CPA, whether that's paying your taxes, your franchise taxes. Take a look at the CPA's vendor performance and tracking system to see what your grade is, if you have a grade in there. Check with the Secretary of State to ensure that you are in good standing and that the name that you respond with is actually the name registered to do business with the state of Texas. And the other thing we do during our procurements is we check Dun and Bradstreet. We check on the SER score, and I'm sorry, I don't know what that stands for, but the SER score. And I'll just put it out there to you all. If you have a score, an SER score of 9, that's considered failing. So you might want to go check that, make sure Dun and Bradstreet's got all your information right. And if you need to correct something, now's the time to go get that corrected. So we do not award contracts to vendors with a Dun and Bradstreet score, SER score of 9. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we go into the solicitation process. These will be posted on the ESBD. Oftentimes we have a link from our website under the schedule of solicitation opportunities that you can get to it for, but do become familiar with the ESBD, understand and know that it is your responsibility to check that regularly. In the solicitation, we'll of course have background requirements and response instructions. We'll give you high level evaluation criteria, like kind of how we big bucket the points across each area. We'll of course have the dates that you need to be able to follow and ensure that you get your responses in on time. During the Q&A process, this is really your time to eliminate some of your assumptions and get to the best proposal you can provide. So really utilize the Q&A period to your fullest extent you can. Read the questions and answers that are already posted out there so that you don't waste your time and our time in answering asking and answering questions that have already been asked and answered. We tend to push out addendums to our solicitations about weekly during the Q&A process so that we're trying to again get those answers out to you as fast as we can, because we know a lot of your responses are dependent on the answers we give. And of course, don't wait till the last minute to hit submit or to send your email with your response. Seconds matter in these times, and we have not accepted responses that came in, seconds after the due date and time. So just know that sometimes email takes a little bit of time to get through. Do not wait till the last minute or second to hit send on your email with your response. We will ask that you document any assumptions when you do your response, and that will help us all understand. And as we move through the process, we could ask for clarifications on those assumptions during a discussion session if you make it to that next phase. When you're proposing your org chart, please make sure that you propose real people with real plans and real offerings, that people you actually have, and not just a concept of this is what a position might look like and the types of qualities a person might have. Do propose real people. And just make sure, again, I'll just restate, make sure that the name you submit responses under is your legal entity name. It's really, really important that we get down there, which moves us into the next slide, actually, with the digital data room. So we will put information in a digital data room, and you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement in order to get access to that data. And we are checking to make sure that the entity name you put on your NDA is a legal entity name. So again, just think about making sure that you are all on the same page as to what your legal entity name, whether it's the name you put on your response, the name you use for your NDA to access the data room, and the name you use on your HSP. Just make sure that all the parties in your organization who are responsible for those things are all in alignment with what your legal entity name is. So good time to right now to sort that out and understand what name you're going to be proposing under. Just a side note here too, we will not take edits to the NDA for the data room, so it can save us all a lot of time if you understand that point. Again, you're going to want to check the ESBD regularly to avoid missing any important information that we may put out during an RFO process. Next slide. Okay, continuing on in the solicitation process, it's really important that you tailor your response to the goals and objectives in the RFO. Generic responses that you may have used somewhere else isn't going to get you real far, especially if you make the mistake and forget to remove the other customer's name out of your response. We have seen that before. So do tailor your response to this RFO and to the goals and objectives. Again, address all the response instructions. Neglecting to comply with all that could mean you are disqualified, or they can hinder you in the process in some way. We do have a master services agreement that we use across the whole shared services program, and excessive or material exceptions could hamper your opportunity for further consideration of your response. Again, just kind of some tips here: review your response, review it again, and try not to submit an incomplete response. Make sure it's comprehensive and covers everything we've asked for in the response instructions. Please acknowledge addenda posted. It is not a fail if you don't, but it helps us all know, everybody know you've seen all the addenda, and everybody's on the same page with understanding that maybe there was something we had to change in the RFO, that you all are aware of it and that your response takes that information into consideration. And then of course, make sure the right person with authority to bind you to the contract is the one who signs the response. And I'll give you one more tip. Don't just submit your response and then head out of town. If there's a problem with the response or we have some questions, we need to be able to get a hold of somebody. And some of these tips I'm giving you are because we've actually seen it. So we've had an incident in the past where we couldn't get a hold of a proposer, and because they went on vacation after they hit submit. Okay, next page, next slide. Okay, during evaluation, please be patient. It takes us a little time, and you want us to take a little time to evaluate your response so that we can give it full consideration. And then when we're done doing that, we do our next steps. And may invite you to discussions where we clarify maybe something in your response, or we need to clarify something in our requirements. We don't do BAFOs, best and final offers, or BARFOs, best and really final offers. We will do what we call a request for revised offer. And you need to treat each turn when we ask for a revised offer as your final optional time to submit pricing changes or to revise your offer. Treat each one as though it's your last chance. And during that whole process, we do consider new information we get, whether it's orally or written. We continue to evaluate throughout the entire process. So just keep that in mind. You may be invited to participate in sessions with current contract holders. Usually we do have the MSI, the multi-sourcing services integrator, as one of those sessions you will have to understand a little more completely what it is MSI does and how you would interact with them. So just know that that might be part of the process. Okay, next slide. Okay, here's some links to some resources that you may find helpful. Of course, we host the Open Data Portal. There's lots of good information on the Open Data Portal. Do check the ESBD regularly, and we will have some information sometimes on our schedule of solicitation opportunities that can be found on the, basically, if you get to the selling through DIR part of our website, we'll have information there occasionally. And then, of course, if you're just new to doing business with the state of Texas, Comptroller has some great information on their webpage as well. All right, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Teresa for Hub.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Teresa Williamson. I'm the Hub Program Manager. Next slide. The state of Texas has a Hub program, and it is a good faith effort program. It is not a set aside. The state of Texas does have a Hub certification. So if you are a minority or woman or service disabled veteran owned business, you own and operate and manage 51% of your daily business, and your primary location is in Texas, and you are a for-profit business, then you want to take a look at getting your Hub certification. Prime vendors are looking to partner with Hub certified companies. Our customers are looking also for those Hub certified companies to do business with, because all state agencies in higher education have Hub utilization goals and are required to report back to the Comptroller's office twice. So we have our semi-annual and annual reporting that we do each March and September. One way of increasing utilization through the Hub subcontracting plan, which is your HSP. DIR includes a Hub subcontracting plan to all RFOs that are let out for bid. That means that you as a prime must complete the HSP in order for your response to be accepted. Failure to complete and sign your Hub subcontracting plan will result in your bid response being rejected. That means that your response will not be considered. When completing an HSP, you will identify your subcontracting opportunities that you may have in providing the service or products that are listed on the contract. Under each of those subcontracting opportunities, you'll identify the Hub and non-Hub vendors that you plan on using in fulfillment of the contract. You are also required to provide approximate dollar amounts and percentages that you allocate to each of the firms. These totals are inclusive of all anticipated sales through the contract for the life of your contract. Okay, next slide. These are Hub goals. Hub goals are assigned to each procurement. Recently, staffing was released. It has a hub goal of 26% because we consider that type of procurement as other services. And also software is now in negotiations. It has a hub goal listed at 21.1% because we consider that a commodities type procurement. Next slide. These are some more links that you have already visited with Amy, but we'll just talk about them a little bit. Centralized Master Bidders List, the CMBL. If you don't have a registration with the CMBL, that's something that you'll want to look into. There is a fee, but it is $70 a year, which breaks down to 19 cents a day. And it is a great resource for your company to receive those that bid information. That means that you'll receive updated information at any time. Make sure that your contact information is current. That includes phone numbers and emails. We know that people come and go, and we want to make sure that the emails that you have listed with the CMBL are being monitored. So make sure that you keep that information updated. The next is the Electronic State Business Daily, the ESBD. Any bid that is an expected value of $25,000 or more must be posted to the Electronic State Business Daily. DIR does post all contracting opportunities out to the ESBD. All of the information that you need to know about an RFO will be included on the ESBD. Any updates also for an RFO will be posted, such as any addendums. Important information like pre-bids, pre-solicitations, meetings like this one. You'll want to make sure that you receive that information as well. So you need to keep up with the Electronic State Business Daily and visit it often. This type of event is an ideal setting for you to meet with other respondents as well. I think Amy said that as well earlier. For those bid opportunities that you may be interested in. So share your business cards, capability statements once that list is posted. And then the hub certification. If you are eligible, we went over those requirements, and you're not certified, get your certification. If you are certified, please be mindful of the expiration date. They usually give you 90 days that you're coming up to expiration, but make sure that you are completing any documents to make sure that you stay certified. There is no charge for the State of Texas Hub certification, and the certification is good for 4 years. If for some reason your certification isn't active during a bid response, you cannot count yourself as Hub certified. Next slide. I know that we're not taking questions right now, but this is an email address that you'll want to save for later. So once the solicitation hits the ESBD, you will want to make sure that for any of your hub needs, if you have questions on your hub, completing your hub subcontracting plan, please reach out to us. We also do a precursory review or a complimentary review of your document at that point, and then you can make sure that you submit it with your actual bid response. And back to Brian, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. You asked what the next steps are for the MSS procurement. We're going to outline those out here. We'll have the release of the RFO to ESBD expected November. We understand that we said late November, and for planning purposes, we have taken into account that the holidays that occurred during that time frame. So for planning purposes, we do have an understanding, and we have included that in the schedule once you'll see the RFO come out. We have the RFO solicitation conference, which will be released as well. It's approximately 1 to 2 weeks following the RFO release. The normal RFO posting times are about 8 to 12 weeks. You must be submitted as specified in the RFO by the due date. I want to reemphasize that is the RFO by the due date that's listed in the RFO, please. Only contact myself, the single point of contact, which will be listed here from the RFO. For this RFO, we have set up a specific email address, enterprise581@dir.texas.gov. That was enterprise581@dir.texas.gov. I, as the procurement lead, will be monitoring this email account. So those are the next steps that we have coming up for Managed Security Services ARPO. Go to the next slide, please. All right, the posting of this marketing engagement information, again, we'll have the slide deck, the recording, the sign, the roster that comes out here, and the Zoom attendance list that will come from the ASBD. This will go to the ASBD where I posted the pre-solicitation notice before. Again, I'll post all that information on the ASBD where I posted the pre-solicitation notice before. Next slide. Again, we didn't have any Q&A, but again, please reference this Enterprise 581 at dir.texas.gov for anything that pertains for the MSS Managed Security Services ARPO. Thank you very much. That's all I have.